Malaysia, and they surprised everybody. So it can be done, and the issue is when you're top like that, you have to remain it, and that's the biggest challenge, isn't it? But it's nice to see the new team doing very well.
Yeah. Okay, Mike, let's now concentrate on the Euro 2024 competition. So the field at the Euro 2024 has been rated 18 from 24. Our 6 group winners, 6 group runners up, and the 4 best third place teams advancing to the round of 16, which kicks off this very late Saturday, the 29th day of June. We've got 2 games today. We've got Switzerland playing against Italy today, and then we've got Germany also playing against Denmark. Let me pick it from this angle. Have you been impressed with the performance so far in the Euros?
You know, it's been a strange competition. I was there in. I remember Euro 2020. I was there actually working on Euro 2020 on the television here in Ghana. And this competition seems to be, I don't know, it's struggled to get out of the starting blocks. You know, I was talking yesterday about football overload, particularly in Europe. You know, we've had a long Premier League season, and then we move into the European Champions League, and then we go into the Europa League, and there's been lots of European football, and then all of a sudden we've got another competition, and you know, the players haven't had a chance to put their feet up. It's a 12-month sport now, particularly this year. So, but saying that, I think when you get to the last 16, that's when things start to happen. The interest will kick in now, and the big teams have been a bit disappointing.
Yeah.
Spain are the only team who won all 3 games. I'm very impressed with Spain. Played 9 points. You know, the only team in the competition to be able to do that. That says something about them. And there's some big guns. All the big guns are still in them, have gone out.
Yeah.
There are 1 or 2 minnows in, which is very exciting. The likes of Georgia surprised Portugal the other night with a 2-0 win. A very small country, small population, and the Slovakia and Slovenia teams have also been very, very impressive. Very difficult to break down, very good defensively, and we've got some great games coming up. Today, Switzerland and Italy. Italy, in by the skin of the teeth. I remember watching it. The referee indicated 8 minutes of added time.
Croatia are not so happy with the 8 minutes. Yeah. They asked the question, someone died on the pitch.
Yeah.
But to give 8 minutes of added time, they were not so happy with it.
You play to the whistle, you play to the time.
Yeah, this is it. And it was 7.55. I remember looking up the child score in the dying seconds. And sometimes teams can go on to bigger and better things from a game like that.
I never heard you speak about England, but England's performance at the Euros has not been so encouraging. Do you feel England can go all the way to the finals this year?
That's a good question. You know, England team is coming back home. It's coming under a lot of criticism from the fans. You know what the press is like in England, UK. Very, very harsh. They build you up, put you on a pedestal, and like shoot you down in flames. You know, and but let's look at it. You know, England topped their group. Unbeaten, all right. Only scored 2 goals, but they won the group. They've got a tie against Slovakia coming up tomorrow. But the feeling I think in England is that although they top the group of players they've got are not realising their true potential. And I think there's a lot of criticism now of the manager down at Southgate.
Yeah.
I believe some fans were throwing paper cups at him the other day, which is not very nice. But it's frustration sometimes. You expect your team to do well on paper when you look at the players they've got in the starting 11. You know, the money's up there. You know, all these superstars that are playing all over the world. You expect them to gel, but it doesn't often work like that. You know, look at Belgium as an example. I mean, if you look at their team sheet, you know, from 4 years ago, you know, what a team. But they've never gelled as a team, Belgium. Let's see if they can do it this year. But going back to England, you know, it's a very similar model to Ghana. The expectations of England at any competition are very high. You know, the fans in the back of their mind are expecting them to win it. Yeah, England have not won a competition since 1966 when we won the World Cup, and we beat West Germany.
Maybe it's coming home. Well, see, it's coming home.
How many times have you heard that football's coming home?
Umpteen times.
Yeah. And you know, I get a little bit blasé about England, you know, sometimes, and to the point that you know people get a bit bored with it. But I'm sure for today, I'm sure now they're through to the last 16. It's the knockout stages now. There's no second chance. It's live by the sword, die by the sword. You've no replays or other games to play. If you don't win today, one way or the other, you're out of the competition. England have to win today, otherwise they'll go home with their tails behind their legs, and you know the fans won't be happy. They've got a big chance. The expectations are very high. The fans are expecting a lot. Southgate's coming under a lot of criticism with his selection. He's leaving players out who some of the fans and particularly the pundits feel should be in. But you know, you can't please everyone as a manager. You have to make your own decisions. Will England go all the way? I'm not so sure.
I believe you are just being honest with us this morning. Let's look into today's game. Switzerland will be playing the first game in the round of 16 against Italy. Italy are the defending champions.
Yeah.
They've also not had a wonderful tournament so far. They're coming up against Granit Xhaka's Switzerland.
Yeah.
What's your take on this game?
Well, you know, Switzerland again are surprised in the competition. They've taken 5 points from their 3 games, and I looked at Shaqiri's performance in that first game and that goal he's got. You see, the thing is, if you've got players like Xhaka and Shaqiri on the pitch, anything can happen. And you know what a left foot Shaqiri has. You know, I mean, even at his time at Liverpool, I used to think he was a tremendous player. You know, a very gifted, talented player. And from set pieces, corners, or from anywhere, he can shoot. He can shoot to kill. You know.
Yeah.
And that's what he does. So he's got to be a big threat. And he's coming towards the end of his career now. I think he's 33, something like that. I'm not sure, but he seems to have been around forever, Shaqiri. And for me, he's one player to look out for tonight in tonight's game. It's going to be a very interesting game tonight. Italy, defensively very strong, very good on the break. But, you know, they've been lacking something. They're lacking something, the team. But they're still in it. They're still the current champions. They're defending their champion status. It's going to be an exciting game. This game could go to extra time, I think, tonight.
Wow.
You could see extra
We're
time.
going to be seeing the first extra time in tonight's game.
There's a strong possibility. Defensively, both teams are very strong, and they've got some good individual players. I would say Italy will be favourites overall tonight, but don't rule out Switzerland. It's going to be a good game.
Wow. And the second game for today, Germany coming up is against Denmark.
Yeah.
Germany themselves started so well, winning 5-1, and then they seem not to have found their mojo so far in the competition.
Yeah. Again, you know, Germany finished with 7 points, 1-2, drawn 1 in the group stages. It's their home. They've got an extra player on the pitch with the fans, and you know the support they'll get from the home crowd. It's their. I always say that you know the home team always does have a little bit of an advantage in a tournament. There's that added, you know, feeling of playing at home in front of your fans, the national anthem, the emotion. You know, and teams seem to play a lot better on their home soil. So Germany's got a lot going for them today. They scored 5 in their first game against Scotland. I have a few Scottish friends back home that I know they were very disappointed. The expectations for Scotland were very high as well. Having got to the finals, they did excellent. But they were very disappointed with that. But what a start for Germany. 5-1, the whole country. You know, was in mayhem. You know, 5-1 in the opening game. You couldn't have asked for a better start. But Denmark, a stubborn team. They played England recently in the group stages. They made it very difficult for England. Contained England. Were unlucky in some cases not to go on to win the game. They had the chances. And they've got the talisman in there. You know, Eriksen's still in there, and you know, 1 or 2 other very, very good players. It's good to see in this competition the more experienced players adding a lot of value. You know, Lewandowski, for example, for Poland. He still managed to score a goal. You know, even though Poland were disappointed. You've got Ronaldo.
Yes, it's not.
But you know, I saw the last game. Ronaldo of old would have taken that goal rather than passed it. You know, and it's up for him now. It's all about beating records, isn't it? You know, and Pepe. You know, what's Pepe still doing playing in European competition?
I think 41. That's incredible.
Absolutely incredible. You've got two players there. Their age add up to 80 years, and they're still the mainstay to a certain extent. Ronaldo's not as mobile as he used to be, but I tell you what, from set pieces and play, still big danger, and you can't rule him out. You know, he can pop up and hurt you. So you know you've got the likes of Shaqiri in Switzerland, Ronaldo, Pepe, Lewandowski, Ericsson. You know these older players who are adding a lot of value to this competition. Germany, Denmark. Well, yeah, what an interesting game that's going to be. The Danes, the Vikings against the Germans, and on face of it, I've got to edge Germany. I think I've got to go with Germany.
You don't think 1982 might be coming back?
No. I just feel as though Germany have got a little bit more strength and depth. They've got home advantage. It's going to be a packed house. It's in Dortmund, I believe, tonight. Is that right? The game. The first game's in Berlin.
The first game is in Berlin.
Yeah.
The next game is in Dortmund.
Dortmund, that's right.
Yeah.
So, you know, Dortmund will be buzzing later today. You know, and you can imagine the excitement, the anticipation of this game. Denmark will make it very, very difficult for Germany, I think. But I don't think they're going to create a surprise. My Danish friends will not agree with me, I'm sure. But I'm going to go for Italy and Germany in today's games, maybe to go through. Whether it'll be over 90 minutes, or whether it will go to extra time or penalties, I don't know. But I have a feeling Italy and Germany could see themselves through into the next round, quarterfinals.
The big game France is coming up against Belgium.
For me, this is the tie of the group 16. Yeah, they're neighbours, France and Belgium.
They all speak French.
They all speak French. Yeah. And, this is a massive game. Belgium are quite strong. They've got some big stars. De Bruyne. All of them are stars. Lukaku. Yeah. Again, you know, Lukaku. He seems to have been around for a long time. I remember years ago he was playing for Chelsea, and then he went to Everton. He couldn't stop scoring goals. You know, and he's still there, isn't he? You know, and I'm sure he's got something to add to that game. France, they're one of the favourites of the competition, but again, you know, they've been not that. You know, they finished second in their group behind Austria. Austria's been a bit of a surprise to me. 3 games, 5 points, France. But look, you know, Mbappe and Etal, you know, they're going to make it difficult on the day. They can. You
But
know,
Belgium also have got this Leandro Trossard from Arsenal. Kevin De Bruyne are also in there. Yannick Carrasco. These guys can just hit you at any time.
absolutely. You know, Belgium should have realised their potential at the World Cup. And I remember watching Euro 2020. They had a star-studded team there, and even in the last World Cup, they had a star-studded team. But the problem is, you've got all these big names, but coming together as a team and gelling is another issue, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, individual players, yes, but working as a team, that's what's needed at a competition. Anybody who's played in a competition will know that just because you're a big name doesn't mean you're going to be influential. It's all about team, and the longer the competition goes on, you know, the more teamwork is involved. And this is why sometimes the team that you started the first game with, by the end of the competition, if you're still in it, changes radically. Because people will come and go out of the team, and all of a sudden you get a nice balance. Yeah?
Yeah.
And lesser known players sometimes perform better in a team than the well-known, the better-known players. So, be interested to see this game at France and Belgium. I'm going to be watching it. It's in Dusseldorf, Monday. This coming Monday, it's going to be a great game. Certainly one to watch. France and Belgium.
Slightly. Are you tipping France?
I actually would like to see Belgium realise their potential. They've not done it. can this be the game that they say to the world, look, we've arrived now?
It's going to be difficult.
It's going to be very difficult against France. I think France might just edge the game.
Okay, in Frankfurt, we have Portugal coming up against Slovenia.
Well, yeah, that's going to be a very interesting game. Yeah, that's on Monday. Portugal, Slovenia. Portugal. 6 points from 3 games. 1-2 lost, 1 disappointing result against Georgia. Going down 1-0 after 2 minutes only, and then not being able to recover. With frustration, Ronaldo looking very frustrated on the pitch, very disenchanted, kicking away bottles of water. Comes off.
Has always been like Ronaldo.
And you know, that's what Georgia did. They frustrated not only Ronaldo, they frustrated Portugal. And hats off to Georgia. You know, they made it through to the next round. Georgia, 4 points from 3 games, 1-1, drawn 1, lost 1. Small country. And then you've got Slovenia. Made it very, very difficult for England in the last game. Defensively, very well organised. They got the draw. It was as though they'd won the cup at the end of that game. I don't know whether you saw the celebrations from the Slovenian team.
Yeah.
It was as though
after the referee whistle, they were in some jubilant goals.
They were absolutely jubilant, the fans. And it was as though they'd won the FA Cup at Wembley. You know, they all fell to their knees, and they just couldn't believe it that they'd managed. You know, that was a big result for them.
Yeah.
And you know, for England again, they were expected to beat Slovenia, but don't rule them out. They're a very good, well organised side. These teams from the former Yugoslavia area, they're very strong, very well organised, and they're going to make it very difficult for Portugal, Slovenia. Portugal are not going to have it all their own way. You could actually see an upset there. Portugal and Slovenia, you could see an upset. You could see, on the back of what they did against England, and the back of what Portugal have coming into, having lost against Georgia, you could see Slovenia making an upset and beating Portugal.
My surprise team in the round of 16 has to be Turkey. So far, I must say I have been so much impressed with their style of play, seeing the quality they have in the Adam Bula, one example in their team. They come up against Austria in Leipzig.
Yeah. Again, what a game this is going to be. I mean, Austria, top their group, Group D, 6 points from 3 games, and they've been very impressive, Austria. Very, very impressive. Against a Turkish side which has also impressed. Again, 6 points from 3 games, very similar to Austria. They've got some very good individual players, Turkey. They look a well-organised side. But Austria, this season, this competition looked to me to be, quite strong. Very evenly matched game. Difficult one in Leipzig. This will be on Tuesday, the last game of the round of 16. Austria-Turkey, how do I see that one going? I think Austria's going to edge that.
Austria?
Yeah, I think Austria might beat Turkey, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I fancy Austria to get to the quarters, to be honest with you, from what I've seen. But we'll wait and see. Turkey's very strong. They've got some very good players, very good team ethic, good manager, coach, and it's going to be. Wow, there's some fantastic games coming there. Very difficult to predict these games.
Very difficult.
The competition's hot enough, isn't it? It's hot enough now.
It's got to.
Yeah, it's got to.
Yeah.
So Spain and Georgia, and also England and Slovakia.
Spain and Georgia is going to be like a one-way traffic.
I was asked a couple of days ago what's my predictions for who will win the Euro 2024, and I ruled England out.
Oh wow!
Although they're my home nation and I want them to win. Don't get me wrong, I want them to win. We got to the final last year.
Yeah.
Italy beat us. We had a very young side. these players have had a chance to mature now. You know, we're 4 years on, and I still don't think they're realising their full potential. You know, and my favourites to win this competition are Spain, the only team that have taken 9 points from 3 games so far, and Italy. Italy are always the dark horses. Don't rule them out. You know, when you think you've beaten them, they'll come back and bite you. You know.
Felix might probably not agree with you.
Yeah.
Felix have just taken Portugal to be champions.
Yeah.
No, but I support Italy.
You support
Forza
Italy.
Italia.
It's a good prediction because it's a very good prediction.
I watched the part.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a good prediction, and you know, Portugal have won this competition in the past, and they've got a very strong team. And yeah, I mean, it'd be interesting to see that. But yeah, Spain are up against Georgia. Georgia have done great, don't get me wrong, but I can't see them. I can't see them. They're playing tomorrow in Cologne, Spain and Georgia. I can't see them beating Spain. As for England and Slovakia, what a tough one that will be. But I think England will win tomorrow. I think
I hope so. I'm supporting England.
Are you supporting
Yeah,
England?
I'm supporting England. All because of Bukayo Saka and Declan Rice.
Yeah.
I should just let you know where I'm supporting England.
Okay, so is your team called Arsenal?
My team is there. Arsenal. To be honest.
Yeah. So you've got a few of your boys playing in this competition, or ex-players playing in this competition.
Yeah.
So you know, them 2 boys in particular have been playing very well. Bellingham, you know, he's come into the reckoning this time now. But also the young boy from Chelsea, Cole
Palmer.
He's come from nowhere basically. Really, he's doing very well. And yeah, Southgate. I can see Southgate finishing at the end of this competition. I think if they win it, there's a possibility they'll want him to stay on. But anything less than a win, I think
You don't think he might probably
he'll bow
resign?
out. I think he'll bow out.
I think so.
I think he'll bow out. To be fair, he's had a good run, and he's managed himself very well. There's been no, you know, bad press about him. He's a gentleman. He speaks well. You never hear him criticise a player.
Yeah.
You never hear him criticise any of the pundits who have been quite vicious against him and his team. You know, it's uncalled for. Former internationals. You know, they've been there themselves. They know what it's like playing a big competition. It's easy to sit back and criticise people. Harry Kane, you know, he's come under a lot of criticism back home from pundits, and you know, Harry Kane's he's a world-class player. He doesn't change overnight.
Top scorer from the Bundesliga.
Top scorer, you know. I mean, you know, Tottenham's jewelling the crown, wasn't he? You know, and you know, he's not going to stop scoring just because the pundits are having a go at him. You know, and so yeah, there's a lot of stuff. I can see it reminisces with Ghana in AFCON. You know, the sort of criticism in the background. You know, against Chris Hughton and pundits saying this and saying that. When your team's not doing well, everyone jumps on the bandwagon to put a knife in you, you know. but when your team's playing great, they're all there offering to buy you a beer, you know, and shake hands. So, you know, it's the same wherever you are all over the world, you know. And but football's very important, isn't it? You know, it's bragging rights, isn't it? Particularly, you know, World Cups and AFCONs and Euro competitions. So there's a lot at stake, a lot of pride at stake. And then Romania and Netherlands.
Netherlands, Romania. They play in Munich.
Yeah, in Munich on Tuesday. Yeah. Romania. They topped their group as well. I mean, that group was very interesting, wasn't it? Group E. Romania, Belgium, Slovakia, and Ukraine. All 4 teams ended up with 4 points.
4 points.
And Ukraine.
How football can be cruel sometimes. So Ukraine. You have 4 points and you say bye-bye to Euros.
Even though some teams qualified with 3 points.
3 points.
So, and all that Ukraine's going through at the moment, you know, I mean, you know, with all the stuff that's going on there. What a disappointment for them. You know, they've done enough, really. They have, but the rules are the rules, aren't they? You can't change the rules. So, yeah. Romania, Belgium, Slovakia all went through with 4 points. The Netherlands, they They ended up with 4 points. They finished third in their group. They've not been that impressive, the Netherlands. I remember going back to a few years now when the Johan Cruyff and the Harry Arms and all these
Ruud Gullit.
Ruud Gullit.
Yeah. Marco Overmars, Dennis Bergkamp,
Yeah,
Jaap Stam.
keep going. Yeah. And but
The Dubois brothers,
Yeah.
Frank and Ronald Dubois.
yeah. But the current team is lacking, isn't it? Some of
Yeah.
the big names,
Yeah.
of yesteryear, and the Orange were always very strong. The Orange, they were always very strong in European games. But for some reason, the talent, unlike Belgium, where the talent has been coming through, in Holland or in the Netherlands, it's been a bit lacking, with talent. Although there are some very good players in their team, don't get me wrong. I think they've got enough in the tank to overcome Romania, but don't count Romania out, because they also play some very, very good football.
They do.
And in Bucharest, I'm sure, on Tuesday, the whole place will be rocking, in Romania.
There's going to be a sea of yellow.
Yeah, absolutely. It will be absolutely rocking in Bucharest. And also in Amsterdam, so there's some massive, massive nights coming up over the next 4 days or so.
Yeah.
Exciting time. So, we're starting tonight again, aren't we? Switzerland, Italy, we're coming followed by Germany and Denmark. What an exciting day we've got ahead of us.
Interesting. So that was our very own Michael Porter also giving us his fair assessment of the round of 16 game that will be coming up later today, tomorrow, and then Monday, Tuesday night. So if you follow critically from what Michael Porter was saying, you can actually have a clue as to which teams will be making it out of the round of 16 and then getting into the quarterfinal. But Felix Oman is also here. But Mike, I probably might come back to you to check on the officiating so far in the competition, whether the VAR has been a problem in this season's Euros. We realize that. At the AFCON, a lot of Europeans or other people all over the world were praising how Africa were able to use the VAR and our referees were also spot on with our decisions. I'll come back to you on the officiating. But Felix, the round of 16 is here with us again. Michael has given us an extensive analysis on the pairings for this competition. Which teams do you feel will be making it into the quarterfinals?
Right, so I've already predicted Portugal Italy final, and I see the Portuguese winning it. If you look at the path to the finals, in fact, maybe a quick on the group stage. I think that the most exciting team has to be the Spaniards. They play quite good for me.
3 out of 3.
Yes, they play very, very solid. A blend of youth and then experience, and I like what they are doing. And sometimes when you go into a tournament and you don't have the favorite star, it sometimes help. I look at the Spanish team from 2008 to 2012, the one that won 2 European Championships and
The World Cup.
I see some signs from
And this team?
Yes.
Okay.
They just need 2 or 3 competitions together to be very, very solid. My surprise country of the tournament has to be Austria. What they play very, very good. Sometimes you don't need a squad, you don't need the individual players, but when you play together as a unit, as a team, you get the needed results. And I think Ralf Rangnick has done quite well with what he's doing. It tells you that football, it is important to have a very good coach, and that is exactly what the Austrians are benefiting from. I look at France. I look at Netherlands and Poland, and it's surprising to see how Austria had to top a group involving France, Holland, and Poland. That's also how good they are.
Yeah.
But then, I look at the parents. I think that Spain will surely dismantle. They are yet to concede a goal, though. The Spanish team, they are quite good. They will get a win over Georgia. Germany, Denmark, I think this should be a very easy one for Germany, though they're
Germany, Denmark.
Yeah, I think
You think it's going to be so easy?
I look at the Danish team and I don't see where the goals is going to come from.
But you watch the last game in Germany's group, their last good game. They had to struggle to equalize.
Well, then, because they've already qualified, the motivation, they have to, so sometimes it happens.
Okay.
Slovenia, Portugal will carry the full, strength team in this particular one. France versus Belgium. This is going to be a very tight game, but I think the French team would have the experience and the character to win this particular game.
It's quite sad to see France being paired against Belgium because I also would want to see Belgium realizing their full potential. These players are just fading off, and Belgium will just come back to square one.
Ben, you see, I think that it's Roberto Martinez. He
cost all this.
I think he's like a rich kid who has a room full of toys and doesn't know which one to play with.
They end up taking the remote control
he picks this
as
one,
a toy.
he picks this one. And you see, he did a similar thing when, how do you call it? He was with Belgium. I mean, for the Portuguese game I want to talk about. I think that you look at this Portuguese team. If Portugal is to go to the final and win it has to be the coach. Because I don't see why you have Cristiano Ronaldo, you have Diego Jota, and then Fernandes, and you are playing Leao. I don't understand why.
You think Leao is not up there?
When you have this quality,
He's been the main man for AC Milan.
No, but then the form dropped, and even in the Portuguese squad, he's not the best of the best.
He's not Bernardo Silva, so
yes. So if you have Bernardo Silva, if you have Fernandes, if you have Diego Jota,
Cristiano Ronaldo.
I am picking Portugal, but Martinez needs to change some things in the team. And you have Ronaldo, and you have an unselfish Ronaldo as well. It's not about himself. And I think that if you look at what the Argentines did for Messi at the World Cup, these guys also want to do the same for Cristiano Ronaldo. And they also want to push the Ballon d'Or agenda. See, Messi, if Messi should even win the Copa, people will push the Ballon d'Or agenda. You understand? And that is why, yes, trust me, it's about the numbers. It's about the numbers. They'll push the agenda. Let Messi win the Copa. And that's why the Portuguese team also wants Cristiano, because Ronaldo, even in the Saudi League, did quite well, scored a lot of goals.
Yeah.
If he wins the Euro, he will come. That is why I'm disappointed in the English team. Gareth Southgate and the English team should be helping Jude Bellingham win this tournament, because already he's back the Champions League and the La Liga.
He was the best player in the La Liga.
Yes.
So if he's having the Euros,
So
probably best
how
player
can you
in the
have the best player in La Liga, the top scorer in Europe, not just the Bundesliga in Harry Kane, have the best player in the English Premier League, have the young best player in the English Premier League, and you are playing baller football? See, the English group was the most boring group. The English team is the most boring team. But because you can't have all this quality. You can't have all this quality and still be playing the kind of football. We all know Jude Bellingham as a proper box-to-box midfielder. You know what he's doing? He looks at what Ancelotti does with Jude Bellingham, and he wants to replicate that
in the English team.
In the English team. You understand?
It doesn't work like that.
No, because at Madrid, sometimes when you want to use a player, you look at the personnel around him.
Okay.
Look at the way he's playing Declan Rice. Arteta started that thing.
Yeah.
And they realized that no, you need a Jorginho beside Rice. You need a Partey beside Rice. You understand? You can't play, you need somebody to take control of the game. So, if you look at Southgate, I think that the English press, Potter is here, they gave him unnecessary pressure to pick up a lot of offensive-minded players. The team looked very unbalanced. Ben, you know what Southgate has been doing? He watches other coaches where his players are playing and try and replicate that in the national team.
Oh.
So Trent Arnold plays in the club team in midfield. So okay, it is better to come and put him in midfield. When we all know that the guy is a defender, even in defense, he's not all that good. So why are you playing him as a midfielder?
But don't you think Southgate is probably trying to move Trent in midfield because of Kyle Walker? Because if Trent is coming back to be the right fullback, it means Kyle Walker will need to be relegated to the bench.
No. So bench, what's your name?
Walker?
No, bring Walker to the left side
bench,
and then bring
And you
Trent.
think Kyle Walker can be good?
He can be
on the left?
good on
Mike,
both.
you can help us.
He can do that.
You
He can do that.
Kyle Walker is predominantly right footed.
Yes.
His best position is right back. Very, very quick player. I'm sure he's good enough to adapt to any back four position.
Yes.
Because You know, he's into his 30s now. He's a good utility player, but his strength is right back. But if need be, he could play as a middleman in the back three.
Who is playing the left back for them?
Or he should play left back.
Trippier. And it's been awful. And how do you go to a tournament without a natural left back?
Look sure.
Oh, Ben. Look Shaw. He doesn't even train, though. Look Shaw doesn't even train. So, Ben, why don't you
Look sure has got to be their own Sheila Yasu.
Ben,
I don't have
so push Kyle Walker there, bring Trent Arnold back to the right back, and then probably you can tell him to invert into midfield like he does at Liverpool, or like Cucurella is doing as a left back and is inverting into midfield. Then what do you do? There's Anthony Gordon. You can't be benching that guy. Then you can't be, and then allow Phil Foden to play and Bellingham to just do their stuff.
What you've got to remember is that Gareth Southgate was a former defender when he used to play. He was a centre half. He played predominantly for Aston Villa. Good player, but tactically he's very conservative.
Okay.
He likes to defend. Yeah, he likes to have a solid back line. He likes to defend. So his major strength is defence. He would be a defence coach. You know, if he wasn't the manager, he would literally be a defence coach. And the defence is quite strong, but he's conservative. And Felix mentioned boring. That's his style. He's boring the England fans to tears. You know, with the methodology that he's got.
I saw a fan sleeping.
That's his.
Then I saw
the fan sleeping.
That is Southgate's style. You know, and you, as a player, you can't go against the manager's wishes. You know, doing this and doing that when he's telling you this is your job. I don't care about you going too far down the pitch. You know, you're right back. You're going to stay there. Yeah, you're going to watch him.
What I don't think you also need to play to the strength of the players.
Well, yes, he does, but his methodology is defence. You know, and that's his strength. England don't leak a lot of goals, if you look, but they're not scoring many either, which is the biggest problem. Because if you look at England's firepower, they've got a huge arsenal. I'm going to use that name. They've got a huge arsenal. I mean, the goals can come from anywhere, can't they? You know, you've got top players from top teams all over Europe who can score goals for fun. But why is it that when England get to these competitions, they're not doing like Germany's doing, winning 5-1 or 4-0? Or why is it? What is the problem? You know, is it they're scared? Is it they're nervous? Is it they've been told to play a certain way and they don't want to offend the coach for the fear of being benched? Yeah, if you go against the wishes. I don't know, but it's you know, the firepower's there, but the firepower it's as though it's not firing off four cylinders, you know. And tactically, you know, it's down to Southgate. He selects his side, he selects the players. He's got a chance to change things around now in the last 16. There's no second chance now, is there? So you either throw a team onto the pitch that's going to perform, or you have to make some changes. You know, some big changes that might upset other people. So he's got a lot to do. But tomorrow is a big day for England.
So Ben, so for me, I think they're going to beat Slovakia. They will meet the winner of Switzerland and Italy. I think the Italians will win that game against Switzerland. It will be England versus Italy. Italy should win that game. And then I see Netherlands beating Romania, and then Austria beating Turkey. So in the quarter, we will have Netherlands versus Austria. Austria will beat the Dutch. And there will be Austria, Italy. Italy should win that semi-final against
Felix.
against Austria. So we are going to have a Portugal versus Italy final. But I think the Portuguese have enough in them to win that.
Based on the route to the final.
Yes, so based on our route, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So Germany, Spain would be in the quarterfinals. There's Spain and Portugal. No, in the quarterfinals, Spain and Portugal in the semis, and then Portugal will be in the finals.
All right, so quick one, Mike. I want to come back to you, but we are far behind time. I want us to do this briefly on the performances of the referee and the performance of the video assistant as well. After that, we'll move into the Ghana Football Awards and then we'll just leave it here.
Yeah, so, you know, I was here for AFCON, working with National Television, covering the last AFCON. And very impressed with what went on at Côte d'Ivoire. The infrastructure, the facilities, the coverage. It started off a little bit shaky, the coverage. But as the competition went on, it was excellent. And the standard, I tell you what did impress me in the last AFCON was the standard of refereeing.
Wow.
Because in the past, this has always been a problem with African football. You know, some referees top quality, top draw, others mediocre, and then you get a number of poor referees. I remember watching one game and a referee handed 13 yellow cards out, or 14 yellow
18.
18, yeah. Never seen anything quite like that. Never ever seen.
Only in Africa.
Yeah. Absolutely unbelievable. We were in hysterics in the studio, you know. But anyway, but going back to AFCON, yeah, the standard of refereeing was very high. The VAR, I think, was on the ball as well. It was very good with VAR. They didn't take too long. You know, sometimes these VAR decisions can go on and on and on and on and on, and you lose the flow of the game, don't you?
Yeah.
You know, everyone forgets what's happening. The players get stiff because they're not
Active.
Yeah, more active. But AFCON got it right. You know, AFCON is moving in the right direction. Absolutely. It's going to be big in Morocco next time round. You know, huge.
December.
You know, Morocco's.
December in Morocco.
But they're just taking our
Christmas
time.
and New Year.
Christmas and New Year.
And they're going to take all the European players won't be released. You know, because you know it's a big time, isn't it, in the leagues? You know, all the bank holiday games and public holiday games. So anyway, that's another issue. I'm not sure about the dates for AFCON. That's my only. I'd like to have seen it in July.
So it's in December.
Yeah.
I've been in December.
Yeah.
December to January.
Yeah, I'm not so sure about that. But anyway, rules are rules. So the Euros then, in terms of refereeing, it's been a bit hit and miss. The refereeing. On the whole, it's not been bad in the games I've seen.
Okay.
VAR, again,
A bit controversial.
a bit controversial, hasn't it? There's been a number of issues with VAR where, you know, did they get it right? So, if I was to compare AFCON and the Euros, I think AFCON are ahead
Wow.
in terms of.
That's a big group.
You would expect the Euros to be spot on, wouldn't you? With, You know, with everything, the technology, the investment, and everything else. But that's a good sign for African football, and you know, refereeing and structure, technology, you know, and I think the jury's out. The jury's out in the Euros with VAR and the referees.